We pay tribute to Tom Hayden today because he served in this legislature, in this House, at that desk where Senator Atkins is sitting, and on this floor at a different time. Beyond his service, beyond Jane Fonda, beyond the Vietnam War, beyond Students for a Democratic Society, there's lessons we should all take from the life that he lived and from his story. He was, in my view, a man of extraordinary character, incredible personal strength, and wonderful intellectual curiosity. Whether you find yourself on the left, on the right, or some other place in the political spectrum, Tom Hayden teaches us important lessons. Here are four. First, he lived his values. It is not difficult to give a speech from behind a podium or at a Senate desk, but Tom had his head beaten in for what he believed in. He was arrested in Georgia at a time when jails were anything but pleasant, and he put his liberty on the line for organizing students in Chicago to protest the Democratic Party establishment. He may have become famous later in his life, but the important lesson here is that there is risk in fighting against the establishment for what you believe. And taking that risk is an important lesson we should all learn from his life. Two, what most of us don't know about Tom is that he had an insatiable curiosity and a willingness to learn, grow, and adapt. Tom was a voracious reader and was known to friends to come to their homes for dinner with a book in his hand, and often was known to read through dinner, always seeking to improve his mind. He authored 18 books during his lifetime on subjects from philosophy. One of my favorites is The Love of Possession is a Disease with Them. Remember that? And as the emeritus over here said, his book on Irish famine and the lessons from that important time in our history. As hard it is for each of us to work in our respective jobs, it is essential, as Tom taught us, that we continue to learn, experiment, and think. Three, in a very personal eulogy at UCLA on Sunday, Jane Fonda told the 1,000-plus people gathered at that tribute that she fell in love with Tom when he shared with her his deep and personal understanding of the Vietnamese people, their history, culture, and treatment of their elders. His views about Vietnam were largely misunderstood, and from his work, we take away the lessons of the critical need to enhance our understanding, to do our homework, to learn, to listen, to understand before we act. And lastly, Senator Burton mentioned and the Pro Tem mentioned, his government service was informed by a strong belief in the individual. When I worked with Tom, I was chairman of the Public Safety Committee in the other house. In 1997, it was mentioned both by the Pro Tem and the Emeritus. He passed legislation requiring the state to purchase tattoo removal machines at juvenile detention centers. He took me to 2 of those centers to show me firsthand the impacts on kids' lives when they had these tattoos and what it did for them, for their jobs, for their self-esteem, for their reentry in society, as was mentioned, and it was impactful and it was personal to him. All of these issues, his role in politics was personal. Each individual's story made an impact on him. And at the memorial, some of you were there, Alex Sanchez, a Salvadorian gang member, told the story of how Tom traveled with him to Salvador to learn about Salvadorian gangs and understand their story. Dwayne Holmes spoke eloquently of how he met Tom when he was incarcerated and then was hired by Tom in his district office when he was on parole. Tom gave Dwayne hope. He saw good in everyone. He changed their lives. He believed in second chances. He did not make assumptions about Alex and Dwayne and so many others. And let's not make the assumption about Senator Hayden. So as we pass laws on this floor that affect so many, let's remember Tom's life. Let's believe in second chances. Let's not make judgments without learning about people, about their story, about their hope, and about their circumstances. Let's treat people as we encounter as individuals with hope, aspiration, and the ability to succeed. Each of us have the ability to impart important lessons as a result of our experiences. Tom's life was a life well lived, and all of us should be inspired by his character, strength, and story.